Good morning, everyone. And today we're going to be doing top to bottom analysis on Intel Corporation stocks, starting from the 1 week time frame. We'll start our analysis by identifying our zones, which are support and resistance levels of higher time. Since was from the weekly time frame, these zones were obviously the weekly zones. So what are zones? So wherever you have support and resistance levels on higher time frames such as the daily time frame, the weekly time frame that we are currently on, or the monthly time frame. This time frame, support and resistance levels on these time frames, the daily, the weekly, and the monthly time frame, are collectively known as zones. So in simple terms, first of all, doing is actually to identify our support and resistance levels. But since we're identifying them on higher time frame, we call them zones instead. So the first thing we do is to identify our zones and then any potential trend lines. After I identify our zones and our trend line on the weekly time frame, then we'll do the exact same thing on the daily time frame. We'll identify our zones, then we'll identify our trend lines. So we have another zone here. You can clearly see that here we are start became resistance. This weekly zone is the support one that became resistance. I have another zone here. I have another zone here. This zone is resistance that became support. Still, we call all of them weekly zones. Okay, so now let's see what can we draw. For a trend line, I draw an upward trend line here, like this. So this is our weekly trend. Let's go down to the daily time frame. See what we have. So now about the daily time frame. We'll do what we did just now one more time. Identify our zones, identify our trend lines. So here we have a daily zone. I have another one around here. I'm already seeing it out of research. So as for trend lines, since we've already seen identified our daily zone, as for trend lines, I believe we can draw one like this. Let's change the color. So this would now be our daily trend line. So you can see that price has been cut in a triangular range in just an almost recent price action. Before we get to that, let's identify our trend origin, which is the next step on our analysis. What's our trend origin? Our trend origin is obviously the beginning of the trend. That since we can draw a trend line, on the weekly time frame, our trend origin will most likely start at the starting of that trend line on the weekly or daily time frame. So now let's identify our trend origin. Let's mark out our market structure. So we have an impulsive followed by a correctional, followed by an impulsive, followed by a correctional, impulsive, correctional, impulsive, correctional. So this triangular range is a correctional move. So we should be expecting a new impulsive moves. At the breakout of this kind, at this triangular range, most likely. At the breakout of this triangular range, there will most likely a new impulsive move. So let's mark out our swing highs and our swing lows. And then let's mark out our market structure. So we have swing high, swing low, swing high, swing low, swing high, and then swing low. And then this is our most recent swing high. So now it deletes this line like this. So you can see that price has gone impulsive correction now, impulsive correction, impulsive. And it's currently in the middle of the correctional phase. Price is going to move up. So before that, circle here and here. So why am I? So these two blue boxes that we have now, I'm going to go down to the lower time frame to see grind patterns that appear within these two blue boxes. Why? Because if any of those patterns appear here, if they have appeared here, or if they appear in the future, to be our indicator that the correctional move has ended and that the next pulse move has just begun, which would give us an excellent entry into a trade. So switching to the night chart for clearer view, what we have here, I see a W pattern in the first box and what looks like triple bottoms on the second. So on the first box, I have a W pattern like this. And in the second box, price went down like this, came lower, which looks like a W pattern on its own. The price retraces. So is this a W pattern or head and shoulders pattern? If I were to ignore this move like this, because the retracement is only very slight, it would end up being a W pattern. So I believe that is already a W pattern. So we have two W patterns appear here. So let's switch to the next chart. That's what we have in the most recent price action. I want to say that we have a W pattern, and we do have a W pattern. We have a W pattern like this. But at the same time, you can also move it here. It also fits. So what I'm trying to say is that we have a W pattern here, but at the same time, I can draw this as a triple bottom. But even though I can draw this as a triple bottom, the finals, the end game is still the same. I saw a W pattern the first time in the first blue box here and the second blue box. And after seeing a third W pattern, I can take my trade with confidence that price will break through the previous higher high to make a new higher high. So I can take my trade all the way up here, somewhere around there. And that's it for total bottom. Now this is an intercorporation stocks.